It's long known that cricket's not just a game in India, it's a religion. But as it happens, when religion is practiced by zealots, it becomes dangerous. On Sunday night, the Madhya Pradesh police said it received some complaints in the Burhanpur district against post-match celebrations after Pakistan defeated India. On Monday, the police there swooped into this remote district, which is about 600 kilometers from Bhopal, and took into custody 15 Muslim men. It's actually inaccurate to say men because 2 of those arrested were minors, less than 18 years of age. The youngest actually was 15. When they were produced in court, the police charged them with sedition. Now, let me give you the official definition of sedition in the Indian Penal Code. Whoever by words, spoken or written or otherwise, brings into hatred or contempt, excites disaffection towards the government by law in India. And the punishment for that, 3 years to imprisonment for life and fine. So it's a heavyweight charge, but that's what was presented in court, and all 15 of them were sent to jail for 14 days. When the media asked why minors were sent in, the police said they had no information of anybody being a minor. Of course, the judge didn't ask how cheering for the rival country in a game becomes hatred or contempt towards the government. The police probably know they are on a weak wicket because NDTV has now learned they are already thinking of changing the charges from sedition to creating communal disharmony. And the police paid a visit to the village today, and they counseled the villagers as if having 15 of their men shoved into prison for cheering wasn't scary enough. That wasn't an isolated incident. Karnataka, where the Congress is in power, saw similar post-match arrests, 4 in one place and 2 in another, which means that it's not that one particular party is prone to doing this. All governments seem to be guilty of it. This has happened before. In 2014, when the Samajwadi government filed a case against 67 Kashmiri students, they were also cheering for Pakistan after a match. Meerut University, in fact, expelled these students because they said that Meerut was communally sensitive and this couldn't be tolerated. The case was taken back after Chief Minister Omar Abdullah spoke to the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, but Akhilesh Yadav had also backed the action. The university, of course, didn't take back the students and after their exams sent them back home. These are just for Pakistan matches, but sedition charges are thrown around everywhere against Amnesty for slogans raised at their event, against Dalit protesters in Haryana recently for simply protesting, against cartoonists for doing their job, and against students for being provocative and exploring ideas. What's not hard to figure out is this one statistic. 1,179 people were arrested for acting against the state, but only 16 were convicted. And that is according to the last NCRP report. So that's what we are talking about today. Let me just introduce our panelists. We have Prashant Bhushan, who is not just a senior advocate, he's also fought one of the key cases in Supreme Court against sedition. We have in studio Professor Debraj Mukherjee of Ramjas College, which saw major protests earlier this year. We have Abhijit Dwivedi, spokesperson for the ABVP, which was also part of those protests that took place in Ramjas College. And of course, ABVP has been at the center of a lot of the protests taking place in campuses across the country. Shailesh Rai joins us from Amnesty International in Bangalore. And Amnesty is one of the people who were charged with sedition because during one of their press conferences, slogans were raised. And from Madhya Pradesh, we have Dr. Hitesh Bajpai, who is designated minister of the government and also spokesperson for the party. Dr. Bajpai, if I can just start with you, just wanted some clarification, sir, about these cases, these arrests that have taken place on Monday. 2 of these people, initially it was reported that out of the 15, 2 of them, 8 of them were minors. Now it's been clarified, the lawyers are saying only 2 were minors. But how come they've been sent to an adult jail?
Look, Sumitraji, there are 2-3 things to mention here. Number one, this is a total law and order situation. So we should not correlate this with any political party or like that, because this decision was taken by a police station in charge and the local administration, and the culprits which have been booked, they were earlier also found, because that is a very sensitive area regarding, you must have listened, the simi activities that is very common over there in around Burhanpur, in those villages. So the administration is always vigilant over there. So they try to keep an eye upon in every activity, and wherever they find that when there is freedom of expression which gets breached and reached to the level of communal tension from either of the community, they have all rights to book them just to restore the peace. So I don't agree with the narrations you are having and with the kind of connotation we are trying to get out of this law and order activity.
Which part is wrong, sir?
These people were booked under 120, 124,
Dr.
whatever.
Bajpai, which part is wrong?
Which
connotation do you think is wrong?
Freedom of expression I am just talking about, because this is a local law and order related to freedom of expression of any sort of.
Okay, no sir, I didn't mention freedom of expression. I just wanted to know. I read out.
It is not a religious affair, what I mean to say.
Okay.
So may I tell where you are wrong?
Yeah.
You said that the party, that Samajwadi Party filed the case. You said BJP filed the case. The party doesn't file the case.
No, I'm saying the government.
No, you said BJP. If you rewind it,
I'm saying the BJP government.
You see, government. You said party.
Samajwadi government.
But it's not the government which files the case.
That's a minor point. But I'm saying all parties have done this.
But
all governments have done this.
Police is not BJP, madam.
Okay.
That's
No, of course not. It's a BJP government. That's the clarification. But I wanted to ask you. No, let's not digress. Sir, I wanted to ask you. I asked you. You haven't answered my question. Two of these people, first of all, how does it become, how does cheering for another country become seditious act? And second, what about why are two minors in jail, sir, in an adult jail?
So Mitra ji, this is basically for the judicial trial to decide.
Okay.
And it was totally a law and order and a lawful activity. So let it be a fair trial and judicial trial. You may have your media trial. I am neither party of judicial trial nor party of media trial. So I would like to withdraw my comments in a judgmental manner in this particular event. Let the truth prevail on the basis of evidences.
Okay, so we are also not trying to do a trial. We just wanted to understand the case from you and have you speak to you about it. Mr. Bhushan, you heard
that is called media trial, madam. Sorry if I heard
Mr. Bhushan, you heard what the minister and the spokesperson of Madhya Pradesh government has said. What do you make of the facts that we know till now about this case? And also the similar cases which are being carried out as we speak by the Karnataka government. They seem almost exactly the same.
Well, this case is a classic example of a gross abuse of the law of sedition. It also shows that most police authorities or many police authorities and many governments have no understanding of the law of sedition at all. You see, sedition is a colonial law. It's a 19th century law enacted during the British government, mainly to suppress the Indian people who were seeking independence from the British government at that time. And therefore it said that exciting disaffection against the government constituted a crime of sedition. However, when the constitution was made and we made ourselves into a constitutional democracy with a fundamental right of freedom of speech, this issue was raised before the Supreme Court. That is, it is the fundamental right of people by speech to show that their elected government is doing wrong things and thereby to excite disaffection against the government so long as they are doing it peacefully. And the Supreme Court agreed with that and said that they said we have two options. Either we strike down this law as being unconstitutional, or we read it down to make it consistent with the Constitution. So they read it down and said that nothing, no action, no speech will constitute sedition unless there is an attempt to use violence or public disorder, to create violence or to create public disorder in order to overthrow the government or in order to excite disaffection against the government. Only that will constitute sedition. Now, it is absurd to say that anybody cheering the Pakistani cricket team, winning a match or supporting the Pakistani cricket team constitutes an act of violence or constitutes an act of creating public disorder in order to overthrow the government. It is absurd. I mean, quite apart from the absurdity of the application of the sedition law, you are trying to, I mean, what is this kind of pseudo-nationalism in which you try to make the game of cricket into an act of war? This is what these people are trying to do?
Well,
can I just
Abhijit, sir, one second, Abhijit,
Sunitra, sir has cited Kedarnath Singh case, so I would directly go to the Kedarnath Singh case.
I just want to comment a single line.
Sir, give me 2 minutes, sir.
Just
2 minutes, sir.
I just
in
want
the
to
Kedarnath
say
Singh
a
case,
Bajpai ji, we'll come to you.
Sir, in
Sir,
the
we'll come to you.
Kedarnath
Yeah.
Singh
Is the ABVP wants to say something? Yeah, you want to, okay, once again, he wants to clarify something. Yeah, Dr. Bajpai, what did you want to say? Once again, he wants to clarify something. Yeah, Dr. Bajpai?
I just want to clarify this thing. These guys, that is a trouble area. Like Bhushan Saab has said, he is not aware of the past history and the evidences that area is having.
Okay,
and
you made that point.
these guys are having history of raising communal tension over there.
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah.
Sunitra, I think
so they are working on evidences.
Prashant Bhushan sir has certainly cited the Kedarnath Singh case, but he has not cited the complete truth. He is misinforming. I will read section 30, para 37 of that judgment. Therein the court says that have the tendency to create public disorder. It doesn't say that public disorder must have the possibility to overthrow the state or the government. So I think in case if sir brings freedom of speech, then he must also go to...
Abhijit, I just want to ask you a simple question, which Dr. Bajpai couldn't respond to.
On the question of arrest also. On the question of arrest, one fact.
Minors being arrested,
minor fact.
Do they deserve sedition case? I want to ask you that.
Sedition case.
You're a student, 15-year-old has been arrested, 2 minors have been arrested. Do you support that?
I will answer the question. The first point which Bajpai has said, if you go to
that... No, don't talk to me about that.
I have just one point to add. One point to add.
No, Abhijit, I'm asking you a very simple question.
Please listen. One point which I would add to Bajpai sir point is that if you go before even 19, even before 18, on 14 and 15, in Burhanpur, there have been ordered by the district magistrate that the jalsa or any kind of programs cannot take place. And because they were having problem, other point on your point of the minor arrest, that maybe have the only part that a minor have to be brought to jail is wrong. A case of sedition against minor can certainly lie. And as far as the question of free speech and celebration, appreciating a team, I also appreciate but celebrating the victory of a team in a climate. And
before we go to Professor Mukherjee, I wanted to ask Shailesh Rai. We pointed out these 2 instances. Well, today, this week, the instances from Karnataka and, of course, what's happening in Madhya Pradesh. These are happening now, again, after the weekend's match. But Shailesh, how common is this? Because 2014, we saw the Samajwadi Party government in Uttar Pradesh also doing the same, initiating sedition charges. But matches, you know, spurring this kind of action, is that very common?
Well, it's common in the case that you referred to in Uttar Pradesh, but I think what's even more disturbing is the fact that we seem to be seeing a gradual lowering of the standard of what constitutes seditious speech. I mean, there was the incident that you mentioned of amnesty. There was also the incident of a Kannada actress, Ramya, who only said that Pakistan is not hell, and she was charged with sedition. And now you see these absurd charges being put. I mean, something as elementary as the choice of a sporting team and what team you want to support, that is being made out to be
absurd.
That is being made out to be.
Which is why we call.
I'm sorry, sir. If I can just finish.
Shailesh, go ahead.
Yeah, saying that none of these people have been accused of inciting violence. The FIR itself against them, I've seen that. It says that they were celebrating and they were distributing sweets. Now, yes, some people may think that is not showing great discretion. They may find it offensive, but that's hardly a reason for the state to step in and actually use the power of the criminal law to charge them with an offense which is punishable with life imprisonment. That is a complete overreaction.